afternoon friends. As we have already discussed, there are multiple uses of operations analytics. We discussed that how operations analytics can help us in different decision making activities which are related to operations management. And over the period, a very interesting you can say uses of analytics which is part of operations analytics is being also researched. And in this particular session, or rather from this week onwards, we are going to discuss about that very aspect, that how we can maximize our revenue using the principles of analytics. We have different types of organizations. In some organizations, you can increase, decrease the capacity, but in some organizations, you cannot increase, decrease the capacity in short duration. So, here comes the role of power of analytics, which will help us in maximizing our revenue. So, in this particular session, we are going to discuss about pricing and revenue management's introduction. Generally, whenever we are talking about pricing, in your mind either economics or marketing or finance, these disciplines come to your consideration. So, some of you may be wondering that how operation management can contribute in pricing and revenue. So, that is going to be very interesting, you can say a kind of a new input for all of us, that how pricing can be a very important aspect. Those of you who have done courses in supply chain management, there they may recall that there are different types of drivers of supply chain like facility, inventory, transportation, information, sourcing, and one of the driver of that supply chain related activity is pricing also. And there also we discuss that pricing can play very important role in matching the demand and supply, because generally price is determined on the basis of law of demand. When you are setting the price as per the demand conditions, if demand is more, you set higher price for getting more benefit, more revenue. If demand is low, the price will also be low, so that by keeping the low prices, you can generate extra demand for your product. So, that is what we already know in the principles of economics. But how with some different type of situations with limited resources, you can dynamically change your price or dynamically allocate the resources. The important thing which we are going to discuss, that if you have some amount of resources, how to allocate those resources so that you get maximum revenue with those limited resources. So, that is where we are going to discuss in this particular session what is the meaning of pricing and revenue optimization. That is one very important aspect we are going to cover. Then we are going to discuss about strategic pricing and price optimization, because as I just mentioned, there are different disciplines, different functional areas which can contribute in deciding the pricing. When we talk in marketing terms, so out of 4 P's of marketing, 1 P is dedicated to pricing. So, marketing people are also considering that pricing is their domain. In finance also, when you go for cost accounting, so they also feel that they have to calculate the cost, and cost plus some profit, that will set the price. I also discussed about economics, where law of demand. So, we need to understand that strategic pricing and process optimization, what are the difference between these two things. And when I say that operation management will contribute in price optimization, or you can say revenue maximization. Our purpose of price optimization is revenue maximization. So, we will discuss in brief the development of this particular field, that how over a period of time this field is developed, what is the historical background, what is the historical significance, how it is applicable in a very perfect competitive markets, and some of the important applications of this particular area will also be considered in our discussions. Now, first is the introduction of pricing and revenue optimization in context of, please remember that since we are talking about operations analytics, so that will become kind of our boundary line, that whatever we are going to discuss, it has to be within the scope of operations management. So, pricing and revenue optimization is a tactical activity, and when I say the tactical activity, it immediately comes to our mind that it is very much related to operations management, because the entire operation management is also a tactical function. However, we also have studied in some other courses, particularly courses related to manufacturing strategy, world class manufacturing, where we also discuss that it is not only a tactical function, but it can also provide you strategic advantage. If you change your orientation from reactive to proactive, it can help you in strategic advantage also. Similarly, pricing and revenue optimization can, though traditionally we call it as a tactical function, but it can also be a important source of your strategic activity. There are organizations which are using it for their strategic advantage. It recognizes this particular field that prices need to change rapidly and as often as possible, and provides guidance on how they should change. So, the overall purpose of this revenue optimization is not only optimization of the revenue, but revenue maximization. And for maximization of revenue, how we are changing the prices with dynamic conditions. Prices may vary on day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. You must have seen that airlines are the most common example that how prices of airline keeps changing. Now, we have seen that in Indian Railway also, they also keep dynamic pricing for their ticket booking system. There was a time when they used to have constant price of the tickets, but now in that also we have dynamic pricing. There are many other examples where you have this kind of dynamic pricing systems, and that is the purpose of revenue maximization, that by keeping the dynamic pricing you are achieving two objectives. One, you are keeping the resources available, you are keeping the resources available for those customers who actually require, who are in dire need of those resources, and for that dire need they are ready to pay you more revenue, they are ready to pay higher prices. If you recall our classes of supply chain management, there we discussed that there is a condition of responsiveness. Responsiveness means you want to have that product, and in order to have that product you are ready to pay a premium price. So, if I am ready to offer you responsive services, I also feel that I should be able to charge appropriate that premium price, which will help me in maximization of my revenue. So, it is basically dynamic pricing is somewhat related to responsive supply chains, so that you are able to maximize your revenue by keeping the appropriate. Here it is also important that if you keep higher prices in order to get more revenue, maybe no customer will like to avail your services. So, that also need to be seen, that you should be able to utilize your full capacity also, and at the same time it should be helping you to maximize the revenue. You can use your entire capacity at a very low price also, but then you are compromising with the revenue. On the other hand, if you keep higher prices, it is quite possible that some of the capacity is not utilized. So, there also there is a case of lower revenue. So, what should be the appropriate price on a day to day basis, so that ultimately your all the capacity is also used, and it also helps you in getting the maximum possible revenue. That is pricing and revenue optimization. Now, as I discussed that we need to also understand difference between strategic pricing and price optimization. So, pricing and revenue optimization which we are talking is different from strategic pricing. Where strategic pricing is, it is more coming from the marketing domain, wherever the primary purpose is to position our product in the marketplace. For example, on the basis of pricing, you can say that this is a luxury product, this is a inferior product, this is a utility product. It is just on the basis of pricing itself. So, in which category of customer you want to position your product, that is possible because of strategic pricing. So, strategic pricing gives you a range that okay, this product like in case of automobiles, most of us know that this is mid segment, this is upper segment, this is lower segment. So, for example, if I say that this is a car which is under the range of let us say 7 to 8 lakhs, you will say that okay, this is a lower segment. Then from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, you can say this is mid segment, or maybe up to 25 lakhs. Then from 25 lakhs plus, you will say this is in the upper segment product. So, whether you are in segment A, segment B, segment C, this is strategic pricing. While strategic pricing worries about how a product should in general be priced relative to the market, pricing and revenue optimization are concerned with determining the prices that will be in place tomorrow and next week. For example, when you see iPhones, so iPhones are basically priced on a premium category. Whenever a new iPhone is launched, it is considered to be one of the premium product in the field of mobile phones. But then comes the role of pricing and revenue optimization. iPhone may change its prices on weekly basis, on quarterly basis, on half yearly basis. That is pricing and revenue optimization. They know that when we are launching the product in first week or first month, we will keep this much price, and then we will reduce the price to this level, and then we will further reduce the price to this level, and that price will remain for let us say at least 1 year. So, keeping a specific price number, that number decision is pricing and revenue optimization. So, you can say that strategic pricing is a broad thing, and within that broad framework, within this broad framework, what is the price on day 1, what is the price on day 2, what is the price of day 3, so that you remain within this broad framework, that is pricing and revenue optimization. Setting these boundary conditions, that is strategic pricing. Strategic pricing sets the constraints within which pricing and revenue optimization actually operates. So, you are getting these boundary conditions, and then within these boundary conditions all different type of price labels which you will like to use for your product, that is coming because of pricing and revenue optimization. Now, let us, after understanding the difference between strategic pricing and pricing revenue optimization, let us see some historical development of this field and how it is coming to the field of optimization and operations management. As we know that the environment is highly complex, situations are changing very fast. The conditions which yesterday were there, today is not there. Let me give you one very recent example. We are recording this course in the month of May 2024, and this is the time in Uttarakhand we have started a very famous Char Dham Yatra. So, lot of tourists come from different parts of the country, not only country but abroad also, to visit these holy shrines. Now, one of the holy shrine in Uttarakhand is Gangotri. Now, because of upper Himalayan regions, the capacity of these shrines are very limited. The location is so that not more than 2000, 3000 tourists can go on a particular day. Now, all of a sudden there is a huge influx of tourists on day 1 when the doors were opened, and as a result of that lot of mismanagement happened. And because of that mismanagement, the local administration, police administration, they started applying some kind of ration system, and unfortunately during the movement lot of traffic jam also happened, and as a result of that since last 2 days not even a single tourist is there in the shrine. So, you see this is requiring dynamic pricing, that when you have so many tourists available there, you will read the prices to increase, but on other day when no tourist is there, you have to reduce the prices, so that whatever maximum revenue you can earn from your available capacity, you should be able to charge. So, these things are happening these days in more frequent manner as compared to the past. So, the optimization techniques to set prices are required for complex dynamic environment, and these things are happening at a much faster rate in the current uncertain environment. We have discussed in various other forums also this term VUCA, and this VUCA is actually characterizing current business environment, where we have lot of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and because of these things our this role of analytics, real time decision making is increasing. The first application of this revenue management, revenue optimization, revenue maximization happened in the airline industry in 1980s. So, you can see the in our other operation management courses, we discussed that most of the seed were shown in the automobile industry, that something happened in the automobile, and from there we have developed the concept. But this concept of revenue maximization, revenue optimization is started from airline industries in 1980s, and after that rapid development of e-commerce, lot of data availability through CRM softwares and various other techniques which we are using in other industries like automobile, retail, telecommunication, financial services and manufacturing. This field of revenue optimization is growing very fast. So, if I see the historical background, that it started from airline industry, and in airline you all will see few very interesting characteristics. If I ask you that think for a minute and identify some important characteristics which are peculiar to an airline industry. Now, and similarly in many other cases also, since the process started from airline industry, so I am taking those examples. One is limited capacity. Capacity is limited of a aeroplane, and this limited capacity is also highly perishable. Once the flight has taken off, you cannot use this limited capacity. Is whatever is unused capacity of that plane, that unused capacity is lost if it is not fulfilled. So, airline has a very typical characteristic where you have limited capacity and that capacity is perishable also. So, you need to see your system, that how I develop a system where you have maximum revenue coming from that particular limited capacity, and this entire system of pricing, that as a customer I should feel that a fair price is there, because a fair price is very much reflection of your intrinsic value of the product. Whatever product you are offering, it is also very much related to the price, that what price you are charging. If you are charging irrational price, people will stop realizing the value of your product. So, a fair price is considered to be one of the very important aspect of intrinsic value of the product. So, the concept of intrinsic value is important in understanding the revenue optimization, revenue maximization through appropriate pricing system. Now, few things we need to understand about perfect competitive market also. This for let us say 5 minutes will go into the class of economics, and we will see that what are the important conditions for a perfectly competitive market. One important condition is there are large number, theoretically saying infinite number of firms, but it cannot be infinite number. So, there are fairly large number of firms, and each firm has the same type of product, and the substantial share of a particular firm in the market is almost negligible. So, no single firm can dictate the market. We all have almost insubstantial share in the market. So, no firm has a kind of a leading position, all firms are at the same level. All the firms are producing homogeneous products with identical production processes and possesses almost same level of information. So, all the firms are having equal amount of information with their competitors for the market and for all those things which are necessary for operating into that particular business, and products are also similar. However, because of branding, because of marketing, etc., we cannot say that it is completely homogeneous product. As a customer, we give some kind of differentiation from product to product. Even if you consider a very simple FMCG product, I know that this is Parle-G biscuit, this is Britannia biscuit, this is Patanjali biscuit. So, that itself is a kind of differentiation, it is not completely homogeneous product. If I say that it is all biscuits irrespective of manufacturer, probably then I can say that it is a homogeneous product, but it is not so in the present environment which is led by the marketing phenomena. So, some sort of differentiation is there. It is also the case that there is free entry to the industry, that new firms can and will enter the industry if they observe that greater than normal profits are being earned. That means, today I want to enter into automobile industry, I want to enter into the electronics industry, I want to enter into the FMCG industry. So, entry barriers are not there. Whenever I feel I can enter into that particular industry, because I feel that this industry can offer me better market, better profits which is not available in other sectors. So, I can enter and I can exit also whenever I want. However, if I talk practically, there may be some constraints with respect to, for example, resource requirements. So, different types of industries may require different type of different level of resources, and maybe I may not have that level of resources. So, that may be a constraint, but theoretically speaking, there are no specific barriers to enter. Anybody can enter into the industry of their choice. Continuing further, the effect of this free entry is to push the demand curve facing each firm downwards until each firm earns only normal profit. So, what happens, because more and more firms are entering into this particular industry. So, now the demand is there, now a new firm will also enter. So, this new firm will also take some market share, and because of entry of more and more new companies, new firms into the market, the demand curve of existing organizations, demand curve means the demand of their products will go down, and each firm will make only the normal profit, at which point there is no further incentive for new entrants to come into the industry. So, when you have only normal profit, so you can say that in a perfect competitive market, firms make only the normal profit, and therefore, there is no incentive for a new entrant that okay, I will have opportunity of making better than normal profit. That opportunity will not be there, because now it is only offering you the normal profits. So, therefore, you see for a second I take you that when we are talking of startups, entrepreneurship, they will not like to go into those perfect competitive markets. They will like to enter into those market space where there are better opportunities. So, in the perfectly competitive market, because of the homogeneous products, as we discussed in the beginning of this particular session, that law of demand and supply operates, and therefore, no single firm can raise the price without losing all its market to its competitors. So, that if you increase the price, you will be out of the market and your market share will go to your competitors. So, in this case finally, which is important for us to remember from this course point of view, that firms are price takers and can sell as much as they are capable of producing at the prevailing market price. So, market sets the price. As a company, as a firm, I do not set the price, I have to operate at a particular price level which is set by the market, and on that price whatever I can make as per my capabilities, my resources, my capacities, I will be able to produce and sell on that prevailing market prices. So, therefore, the role of revenue maximization, price optimization is not applicable in the field of perfectly competitive marketplaces, because in that case you are simply a price taker, you are not setting the price. So, that particular field is not in the domain of our discussion. Wherever you have that influencing factor, or at least by setting the price, you are not going to lose your customers. If customers are still coming to you, like I gave the example of airlines, it may be hotels also, it may be hospitals also, it may be those where you have some limited number of competitors, and each competitor has a very important say in the market. So, in that case the pricing and revenue optimization will be discussed. Now, we coming to the end of this particular video, let us see quickly some of the important applications of what we are going to discuss, as you already have the idea from the airline example that where the capacity is limited and the capacity can be perished on a particular time. So, once that time is passed, you cannot use that unused capacity. So, that is one important area. So, like airlines, trains, buses, etc., all these are those examples where if you have a cricket match, IPL is going on, and if there are some empty seats in the stadium, you cannot use those empty seats for tomorrow. Whatever empty seats are there, your revenue is lost. In fact, in the cinema halls also this is equally applicable. So, capacity is limited and it is immediately perishable. Customers book capacity ahead of time. Now, in all these examples, whether it is cinema hall, whether it is cricket stadium, whether it is airline, railway, etc., there are different types of customers. Many customers, they book their tickets much in advance. There may be few customers who will book tickets just before the time, but variety of customers, they are booking tickets, booking capacity ahead of the time, and prices are changed by opening and closing predefined booking classes. So, generally you know that if you have a booking for let us say 1 month in advance, generally even in our conferences also we say early bird registration, and after early bird then you have the regular price, and then when the conference is going to happen, then you have a very different price which is on the spot price. So, for example, if this is x, so it may be 1.1 x and it can be 1.25 x. So, this is just one example that you have 3 different predefined classes and prices are changing from one class to another class. So, wherever you are able to define your opening, closing, predefined booking classes, in all those cases this revenue management or revenue maximization is equally applicable. So, not only in airlines, if I am a conference organizer, how to maximize my revenue, I can also use this knowledge for maximizing the revenue. I am a entertainer, I am holding the shows of the entertainments. So, in that also how to maybe you have few seats, few front rows, then you have second category of rows, and then you have third category of rows. So, how many seats you want to keep in the first row, how many seats you want to keep in the second class, and how many seats you want to keep in the general classes. So, all these are the important questions which we will answer in this particular discussion, and all these are the application area of revenue management. And there are large number of results, because generally the revenue management is possible in service organizations more, and we know that services are contributing, because the issue of perishability is highest in case of services, and therefore, the importance of service is increasing day by day in our overall economic development. So, the subject of revenue optimization has also become important in the present environment. So, with this we come to end of this particular video. Thank you very much.